Welcome to my channel. Today I will tell you about a state of the United States, South Dakota. It is located in the country's north-central area. Additionally, it is a part of the Great Plains. The Lakota and Dakota Sioux Indian tribes, which currently have 9 reservations in the state and historically controlled the land, are responsible for a sizable amount of the state's population. South Dakota is the 5th least populous state in terms of population among the 50 United States, despite having the 17th greatest area.
On November 2, 1889, South Dakota joined North Dakota as a state.
It had previously been a part of the Dakota Territory to the south. President Benjamin Harrison scrambled the statehood papers before signing them so that no one could determine which one became a state first. They are the 39th and 40th states to be added to the Union. The largest city in South Dakota is Sioux Falls, which has a population of roughly 192,200. Pierre is the state's capital. North Dakota is to the north of South Dakota, followed by Minnesota to the east, Iowa to the south, Nebraska to the south, Wyoming to the west, and Montana to the northwest. The Missouri River, which divides South Dakota into 2 geographically and racially separate portions known to locals as the East River and West River, cuts the state in half. The ecology of the state contains species typical of the grassland biome of North America. The region has been inhabited by humans for many centuries, and the Sioux had taken control by the early 19th century. In the late 19th century, after the Black Hills Gold Rush and the construction of railroads from the east, European-American colonization increased. A series of battles with the Indians were sparked by the invasion of miners and settlers and culminated in the Wounded Knee Massacre in 1890. The Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, increased federal spending on agriculture and defense in the 1940s and 1950s, industrialization. These were some of the major events of the 20th century. Family farms declined as a result of agriculture. Attractions. Cities. On the Missouri River, Pierre serves as the state capital. The 3rd largest city in the state, Aberdeen, is situated in the northeast. Northern State University's residence home to South Dakota State University is Brookings. The Black Hills' oldest town, Custer, is named after General Custer. Deadwood National Historic Landmark for the Black Hills, the only corn palace in the world, Mitchell has added fresh exterior murals each year since 1892. Ancient Indian village Mackenzie House, the 2nd largest city in the state, Rapid City, is situated along Interstate 90 at the base of the Black Hills. Dinosaur Park is one of the attractions there. The state's largest city, Sioux Falls, was given its name after the Great Sioux River Falls. The entrance to the Barren Lands, Badlands, is at Wall. Considering that. National Badlands Park. National Black Hills Forest. The Mad Horse Chief's Memorial is a mountain that will eventually surpass all other statues in size. A decades-long undertaking that is generations removed from Custer. The National Monument at Jewel Cave. Lewis and Clark Trail. On their now famous expedition to the Pacific Northwest, Lewis and Clark traveled through the state along the Missouri River. National Historic Site of the Minuteman Rocket River for national recreation in Missouri. The National Memorial at Mount Rushmore. The area is called Wind Cave National Area after a sacred cave where, depending on the weather, air is either drawn in or blown out. Near Keystone, the National Memorial is referred to as America's Temple of Democracy. Gutzon Borglum, a sculptor, traveled to the Black Hills in 1927 to carve his masterpiece into the granite mountain slope. To see the 4 faces of the Mount Rushmore National Memorial, tourists from all over the world travel to Black Hills, South Dakota. The largest mountain carving in the world is at the Crazy Horse Memorial, which is close to Custer. The memorial serves to respect the history, customs, and culture of North American Indians. On the property of the Crazy Horse Memorial, visitors can take a tour of the Native American Museum and Art Center and see the mountain carving as it develops. Badlands National Park in southwest South Dakota has 244,000 acres of sharp spires and badly eroded hills that give the landscape a moon-like appearance. In the park, tens of thousands of fossils of ancient animals have been found. Even now, archaeological and paleontological digs are being conducted, some of which are open to the public. Visitors can go far below the surface in Wind Cave National Park and Jewel Cave National Monument, both of which are situated in the southern Black Hills. One of the world's longest and most difficult caverns is called Wind Cave. The 28,295 acres of prairie with diverse grasses, ponderosa pine woods, and buffalo wandering above ground contrast with its thin calcite fins and honeycomb-like rock structure. With a length of 141 miles, Jewel Cave is the second longest cave in the world. The name of the cave comes from the formations of its brilliant calcite crystals, which resemble jewel-like formations. As more passages are found, Jewel Cave's official length is continuously growing. 476 feet of new tunnel were found in January 2008. Families love to visit Custer State Park in the southern Black Hills. Visitors can observe animals in its natural habitat thanks to the about 1,500 free-ranging buffalo and a large number of meadow dogs, deer, snow rams, veloros, and donkeys. In addition, the park has a number of cabins and campsites, as well as mountain lakes where visitors can swim and fish. Needles Highway and Iron Mountain Road both provide breathtaking views, unusual rock tunnels, and meandering pigtail bridges for travelers searching for a beautiful journey. In the latter half of the 19th century, population expansion was aided by the 1874 finding of gold in the Black Hills. The largest find was made close to the modern town of Leeds. This location would continue to produce gold for more than 120 years. The HBO television series was inspired by the muddy early days of the town of Deadwood, which was maybe the wildest gold camp to emerge from the fever. Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane lived in Deadwood, and they were all interred in Mount Moriah Cemetery with Sheriff Seth Bullock. In the late 1800s, conflicts erupted between indigenous Sioux tribes and settlers over mineral-rich and culturally sacred land.
The Wounded Knee Massacre, which took place in southeastern South Dakota on December 29, 1890, marked the end of the Plains Indian Wars.
During the Cold War, South Dakota also had a significant impact. America started burying Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missiles under the western grasslands in the 1960s. In the western region of the state, the 44th Missile Wing at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota operated 150 missile silos and 15 launch control stations. To give tourists a special introduction to Cold War history, two of these locations, the Delta I Launch Control Complex and the Delta IX Launch Complex, have been protected as National Historic Landmarks. From chilly winters to sweltering summers, South Dakota experiences four distinct weather seasons. In the summer, temperatures can exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit, almost 40 degrees Celsius, while the wintertime average is well below zero. From semi-arid in the northwest to semi-humid in the southeast, the state's average humidity varies widely. Although thunderstorms can cause severe weather throughout the summer, most days are clear and sunny. Subscribe and like my channel. I'm happy to try for you. See you in the next video.